Hey, what's happening to you guys? Pyros here and welcome back to another video. So, there's been so much unfolding with this whole Disney and Sony and Spider-Man thing that I don't even know where to begin. So I'm gonna try and dissect everything. Like before I go on, I just have to point out that I don't have all these facts, all the data, none of that stuff. I just want to give you guys my thoughts and opinion as a comic book fan and as a movie fan, basically. Just give you guys my own thoughts and opinion. Another perspective to this whole madness that is Spider-Man, essentially. So let's begin with the whole announcement that Disney wanted to kind of like I guess propose a new deal with Sony in which they'll get a 50-50 co-financing with Spider-Man. And for the most part, obviously, if you're a business person, there's no way you can accept that type of deal. And the reason is because with Sony, Spider-Man is their #1 IP. It's the one that makes the most profit. It is the one that generates the most revenue. So from their perspective, there is absolutely no way that they can accept such a deal, which a lot of the people in the community, the people who are following the MCU, I would like to call them the casual community for the most part, they don't see that. From their perspective, what they're saying is that Sony is rejecting a new proposal by Disney, which would cause Spider-Man to no longer be part of the MCU. And obviously they didn't like that. And that caused a whole crusade on Twitter with the hashtag, which I believe it was trending worldwide, and the hashtag was Save Spider-Man, in which people are begging Sony to just accept the deal that where people were kind of begging Sony to accept the deal that Disney was proposing to them so that Spider-Man can still participate in the MCU, not realizing that Spider-Man still has 2 movies in the works that he is contractually obligated to produce, essentially. And what people don't realize is that Sony was perfectly fine with the co-financing deal that they had, in which I think there was a 5% revenue for the first opening days, something like that. I don't have the full details right now, but essentially they had a pretty decent deal for the most part, in which Sony would, I guess, finance the movie, Disney would just make the magic happen, and then obviously Sony will take the profit, whatever. I don't know. I had the information, but I don't have the time to pull it up now. But anyways, so that went down. So a lot of people think Sony is the villain, but it's actually Disney who decided to try and be a little bit greedy, because I think what Disney is banking on, there's a lot of speculation, a lot of theories going on that Disney is doing this on purpose because they know Sony will reject the offer, and they know that they have the somewhat of a goodwill with the community, in which they know that people will react very negatively to the idea of Spider-Man leaving the MCU. But for the most part, we need to keep remembering that both Disney and Sony are big corporate entity. They don't care about us. To them, we are like sheeps, and our wool is made out of money. That's all. They just want us to go out in our fields, eat our grass, and take care of our wool, so they can come down there on and then shear the shit out of it and take what they want from it. That's a weird analogy, but you get the idea. Now, because of this deal going down and Sony initially rejecting the offer, JC Lee, the daughter of Stan Lee, came out in support of Sony, which was a really interesting twist, because I didn't expect the daughter of Stan Lee to actually speak out on this. I thought maybe she would just stay in the sidelines and just watch it from obviously the balcony of wherever it is that she's living at the moment. But she spoke out in support of Sony because, as it turns out, Disney and Marvel have not been treating Stan Lee with the utmost respect that he kind of deserves as the creator and the grandfather of all the shit that we have today. From Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, maybe even the X-Men, anything that we know today, Iron Man, Thor, he is the grandfather of it all. So when Stan Lee, passed away, apparently no one from Disney or Marvel approached, JC to send their condolences for losing, her father. Like, that was a little bit weird to me. Really weird, to be honest with you, because this is a huge person. Like, Stan Lee is not just an average human being. Like, he created an entire fucking culture, to be honest with you. This is no small feat. So the fact that they didn't even send a condolence to her daughter or to anyone within Stan Lee's immediate family, it's a sheer lack of respect, in my opinion, which is another kind of a strike to Disney and Marvel at the moment. Also, Jay-Z spoke on the fact that Marvel and Disney are showing very lack of respect to the property of Stan Lee, which is something that, we kind of already knew this a little bit. And what I mean by that is that Disney is going around, or Marvel, I don't know which one at this point, is going around making changes to the characters that Stan Lee has created. Gender swapping, race swapping, all that stuff. And obviously we just thought that was just, Disney and Marvel just being woke, just trying to please the certain demographic that are super loud these days. But it turns, it's starting to, the pieces are starting to fall in line. Like, you start to see, like, there might be some validation to Jay-Z's words for the most part. Obviously, then you have, on top of this whole Jay-Z leading, both Tom Holland and Zendaya both unfollowed Sony on their social media account, further kind of attacking Sony and making Sony seem like the bad guys in the situation. Now, I can understand maybe Tom Holland unfollowing Sony, because if he doesn't get to participate in the MCU, he's effectively out of a job. Well, out of a job when it comes to Spider-Man. He can probably play any other role for the most part. But this all starts to play a little bit of a connection, because recently there was a clip that the clip that I'm referring to right now is the clip of Stan Lee being asked if Spider-Man can be bi or whatever. So he made it very clear in the clip, and not even in the clip, in previous interviews with that I found from the Washington Post, he made it very clear that once he created a character, he expects that character to stay the same. So if Spider-Man is a white straight male, he should stay like that. Changing him means losing what makes Spider-Man, or what makes Peter Parker. You know what I mean? And we've been seeing this small community, pretty much getting stronger for the most part. How do I put this? Essentially, they're just growing more and more bold, if that's the best way to describe it, in which that they are now slandering Stan Lee, they're calling Stan Lee every phobic title that you can think of, and they're trying to cancel a man who has passed away. All because this is the wild part. All because the creator of the fucking character said that he wants his character to stay the way that it is. So the pieces are falling together. They're just falling together. Like, you start to see a lot of this shit going around. And I just want to bring that small part in, because not only is Marvel and Disney apparently disrespecting Stan Lee and his work and his legacy, you also have this little thing on the sidelines happening with the community who probably don't even read comic books for the most part, who only care about meeting certain quotas, certain agendas, also trying to cancel Stan Lee's name. And obviously when you hear as well, there was a report a way back of Stan Lee's doctors even abusing the guy, and it's like, this man just can't catch a break. This guy spent his entire life creating stories that challenged and attacked, xenophobia, racism, discrimination, anything that was bad in society. And he's always creating characters that are heroes and facing all those adversities. And you're just like, how is it that he doesn't even get, I don't know. But yeah, let's just go back. I kind of went a little bit of a rant here, but let's just go back to the whole Disney and Sony thing. For the most part, I feel like Sony is obviously in a better position, as long as they don't as long as they don't cave in to the mass influence of the community, they're in a better situation anyways. They have what was it? Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which won an Oscar. Venom did extremely well, despite how you may feel about the movie. It did really well financially, so they are in a better position, to be honest, really, for the most part. Anyways, I mean, and also they whether you like it or not, they made one of the best Spider-Man movies, arguably the best Spider-Man movie of all time, which is Spider-Man 2. So if they get their shit together, they're pretty much in a better position, and that would also put Marvel in a bit of a pickle, because let's face it, the MCU was carried by by Iron Man, and Robert Downey Jr. was the one who carried the MCU for the most part. We only cared to see what he was gonna do. The entire story, the entire cast, it was all surrounding Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. was the sun, and everything else was just the planet surrounding him. So when he died out, they were trying to kind of replace Robert Downey Jr. with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, to make sure that he's the one that takes the place and he's the center of it all, basically. So to have this, it seems weird, you know what I mean? Because obviously as a fan, I would like to see Spider-Man in the MCU. Who doesn't? As a fan, we all want this. But at this point now, after hearing what JC Lee said about Marvels and Disney, and how they've been treating not only Stan Lee, but Stan Lee's legacy, I don't know, now I'm starting to think, you know what, I don't want Spider-Man to be in the MCU, but I know at the end of the day, these two corporations, they don't give a fuck about us, they don't care about us. Basically, to them, I think I've used this example already, but to them, we're just sheeps. They just want us to be out in the field, eating, taking care of our wool and all that stuff, and then once we're ready, they'll just come down and shear the shit out of us. That's all it is to it. But I've seen a lot of people in both discussions, many people who are into the comic book world, who are into the business world of things, easily pointing out Disney being the one at fault here for being too greedy. Then on the other side of things, you have the casuals, the people who just are only interested in just going and seeing the movie and nothing else, blaming Sony for not accepting this deal, acting as if Sony needs Marvel. Well, it's the other way around. Marvel needs Sony, because let's face it, they spent two movies. So they spent Infinity War. Civil War. Civil War, Homecoming, Far From Home, and then what was it, Endgame, and Infinity Wars, whatever. They spend so many times, bulking up Spider-Man to make him seem like he's going to be the one to take the spotlight, to carry the MCU forward. Because let's be real here. No one else is worth going to the cinemas. I'm just joking, but seriously though, there's no heavy hitter anymore, and that's why a lot of people are saying that the MCU is now dead. It's not. Phase 4, that's Phase 3. Yeah, Phase 3 was the best, phases, whatever. But the MCU is done. Iron Man is gone, Captain America is gone, Thor, I don't know what they're doing with Thor at this point. They're replacing her with Jane Foster. That's a whole nother thing. Who else? And then Doctor Strange is cool and all, but he's not there. He's not the face of MCU. Black Panther, T'Challa, T'Challa is cool, but let's face it, he's not the face of MCU. He's cool, but he's not the face of MCU. So yeah, that's just my thoughts and opinion on it. It's very interesting to hear about everything that's going down right now. It really shows though, like, because, and even I even heard that Marvel used Stan Lee's Twitter account to promote a movie, and I think that post was made after he passed away. So it's like they have no respect for this man's legacy. And I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to us. If you're someone who read the comic books, who enjoyed what Stan Lee created, his original vision. And what I mean by this is that it inspired you to be a better person. He helped you find a community of people who share the same things as you, who you just, when you had a shitty day and you just picked up a Spider-Man comic book or a Fantastic Four comic book and you just read through that shit and it just made you feel, a little bit better about your day. I think it's up to us to really just pay attention to what Disney and Marvel are going to be doing going forward. Because I know a lot of people, because of the way Tom Holland is going around, I don't know, a lot of people think he's flamboyant, I don't know, but they want this man to play by Spider-Man, and it's like, no. So that's why I made the cautious decision that if I ever see Marvel announce that Spider-Man is bi, I'm never watching an MCU movie again. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. Like I respect Stan Lee. Like, he done something that I don't think can be replicated again. Like, he made a massive impact upon millions of lives. It's not something to just pretend like, oh, it's a small feat. It's not a small feat. It's a massive feat. I've never once watched a Spider-Man TV show or read the comic books and felt, oh shit, this is just no. I'm going a little bit weird here, but what I mean is that I just have such a massive respect for Stan Lee. That's what I'm trying to get at. I have a massive respect for Stan Lee and what he's accomplished. So I obviously, for me personally, I don't like seeing people being disrespected when they've done so much good in this world. That's just my thoughts on being on it. So I'm gonna keep watching this whole Disney and Sony thing and see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, it'll be shit if Spider-Man doesn't make it to the MCU, but we need to remember a lot of things. They don't care about us. It's a corporate battle between Disney and Marvel. We're not even a factor in this thing. At the end of the day, they're gonna make their money. So, but I don't know. Disney is definitely, we can see this already. Disney and Marvel, they don't care. They're making a bunch of changes. They're doing whatever they want to do with Stan Lee's characters. Stan Lee has come out several times, stated that he doesn't want his characters to be changed. He'd rather just make some brand new ones, which isn't. See, the thing is that it's obviously clear. Like, I'm okay. I'm gonna say this now. To be honest with you, they know this. They know that any character that doesn't have a good story and is just an agenda-based character isn't gonna do well. They know this. That's why they're just taking well-established legacy characters and just ripping the soul out of it and injecting some fake-ass, ectoplasm and calling that a soul. I don't know. This whole thing is very interesting to me. Let me know what you guys think about it. I know this isn't a video game or a movie or whatever, but it is interesting to me. And I'll continue to pay attention to see what Sony is going to do. I think I'm going to pay attention as well to see what Disney's going to do. Because Disney's probably sitting down chilling. They think that they've got this under the bag. But at the end of the day, if they don't just accept the original deal, yeah. Anyways, I'm Pyros and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.